that thing. Letting out a laugh, Jahal once again offered the tart to Leticia. Here, you too, Letty. Just one bite, okay? Leticia put the tart in her mouth in one graceful movement, yet with dazzling speed. After she bent her head slightly to swallow it, she picked up her tea as if nothing had happened. What about me? Jahal asked. There's nothing for you. All right then, time for another bite, Letty. Amy, help me out, Leticia pleaded. What are you doing? Came another voice crashing into the table and scattering the romantic atmosphere. Oh, Alec, said Amy. Alec came up on the terrace from the courtyard and sighed. Amy shrugged and smiled appreciatively. After knowing him for 4 years, Amy knew very well that when all was said and done, he was a very caring person. Alexander, now 18, was rapidly beginning to look like the perfect aristocrat. Wait, Alexander's 18? How old are you again? It was stated at the beginning of this chapter. How old is Amy? Kingdom enrollment. I know she's at least 14. Neighboring kingdoms, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. And also, I don't know what page I was on. Not this page. Not that page. Not that page. This page. Amy had exchanged letters. And, oh, Alex, here we go. Found it. Alexander is now 18. I don't remember how old anyone else is. It's been that long. I know the girls are at least 14. And the prince is 13. Alexander, now 18, was rapidly beginning to look like the perfect aristocrat. His dark blonde hair was so dazzling it was almost painful to see, and there was slightly more color to his blue-gray eyes. He had grown into a conventional beauty, one that reminded Amy of the princes from the picture books she used to read in her previous life. Behind Alexander with his furrowed brows, Amy saw Edward, smiling and looking a little embarrassed. We've been looking for you, Jahal. Ed, Alec, I apologize for all the trouble it took to find me. But you can't really blame me. My priority here is Letty, after all. I saw you say that, sighed Edward. Then he smiled and added, Hello, Amy. Amy almost choked on her tea at his dazzling smile, but somehow she managed to swallow it and return a nod of greeting. Yes, keep trying to avoid this relationship and engagement that he wants, that he's already told your dad. Fine, I'll wait. I'm willing to wait until after she's 18 or 21 or whatever age you think. I'm the fourth prince. I got nothing but time. Ed had always been tall for his age, but he had grown even taller. Now there was a considerable difference in height between them. But Edward had never shirked his sword training, so he wasn't lanky or weak. He still gave off a calm, quiet energy, but at some point a fire had been lit behind his silvery gray eyes. His aurora of nobility was still alive and well, and he and Alexander, who made polar opposite impressions, one dynamic motion and the other serene stillness, were two of the most popular people at school. They're also a prince and a duke. Well, future duke. Young duke, I believe, is how it's referred to. According to Amy's father, the director of technology at the Institute of Magic, Edward was quite talented. He had continued attending Joshua's lectures on magical tools, which had evolved into joint research sessions. Woo! Edward's just like, hello, future father-in-law. Let me help you with your research, because I am also interested. We can carry this on into a family business. Your son's off being an adventurer anyway. Edward participated in the development and improvement of magical tools. Although Joshua had still not given his blessings for a betrothal to his daughter, he seemed to highly value Edward's abilities and accomplishments. That's why the engagement's not happening. Joshua was just like, I'm not giving blessings yet. You're still too young. I don't want you to leave the house. I want you to live to adulthood. I don't want you to marry or be engaged until adulthood. Previous life adulthood. So if you're new here and you haven't listened to me read the rest of the story or read it yourself, the whole entire Amy's whole family is reincarnated. The father, mother, brother, and her. They're all reincarnated into this world together. And they're still a family. So yeah. Edward's schedule was jam-packed with his official engagements and his studies. So Amy usually still communicated with him through letters sent by owl post. She frequently visited the riding grounds, which she had been given free access to, aka, hi, you like animals, I like animals. Let me give you free access to more animals and you will stay with me, please and thank you, let me swoon you. Great way to woo a woman who likes animals. Smart man, Edward. But she rarely spent time with Edward there, typically only seeing him in person once or twice a month. If Jahal's going to the school, you might see Edward more. He might just be like, Jahal needs an escort. Because he knows Jahal's just going to follow Letty, and then Edward can follow Jahal, and then go see Amy, because Letty is often hanging out with Amy. Follow the train, Edward. Follow the train. Amy had assumed that when he entered school, his social circle would grow, and he would meet other ladies. Then he'd be able to find an appropriate fiancé. But to this day, there had been no indication of that happening. Amy and Edward had exchanged letters almost daily, and they had continued the practice even now, because if you not send a letter daily, it will be like something's wrong. Must go to Amy's house. Clear my schedule, please. And when they had happened to see each other in school or found themselves in a class together, Edward would always come talk to her. But Amy was still in the ambiguous position of fiancé candidate, having been neither decided on nor rejected and removed from the running. She felt like they needed to sit down and have a proper conversation about the subject, but she was afraid to ask. On that day on the riding grounds, he had told her, I want to be friends. She had repeated those words over and over again and carried them engraved into her heart. That I want to be friends is he's like, you are not ready for a romantic relationship. So I will do, I want to be friends for now. But he did not add the for now part. And you were just hoping, let's just stay friends. More chairs were brought over for the new arrivals, and the all-star lineup of royalty and aristocracy made the terrace look almost like a stage. It was rare for public figures to gather like this, and they realized uncontrollable cheers and stares were directed at them from all over. The attention was coming not only from the ladies in the lounge, but also from the male students at the end of the courtyard. Amy wished she had been sitting with the spectators instead. She only prayed she would look hazy behind the glare of the dazzling auroras of those around her. Jahal, couldn't you at least go the first day without making a commotion? I'm just sitting here quietly having some tea, Alec. Do you want something to eat, Alec? Asked Amy, holding out a piece of tart, thinking that he looked tired. Not now, Amy, he said. In that case, thin, hard, long fingers around her soft wrist and redirected the fork. Hold on. Thin, hard, long fingers wound around her soft wrist and redirected the fork. Amy made a noise of surprise as Edward ate the tart off the tip of her utensil, because Edward's like, hi, you're feeding people? Why are you feeding my cousin? Feed me, I like you more. The cheers around them grew distinctively louder, and even the waiter who came to serve them staggered a bit. Ed! He asked, chewing and looking pleased with himself. At that moment, her heart started banging against the wall of her chest. Letty, you were right. This is really embarrassing. A bit late for that now, Amy. Although several royals and high-ranking aristocrats were seated at the table, there was an amicable feeling to the group. Edward and Alec had never been so plainly presented with such a relaxed, friendly environment at school. But this had all changed 1 month ago with the enrollment of one female student. The three girls sitting beside them did not start showering compliments on Amy's appearance, but not 30 minutes later, they were starting to change their initial impressions on her. So Amy just entered a month ago, if this sentence is about her. So Amy just turned 14, and the others are about 14 as well. And the next one is an intermission, which I will read next time. But yeah, Edward's just like, feed me. I eat food off fork. Yes, say good man. Edward, look at him. Just like, feed me. I eat food. I'm good man. Absolutely precious. And that is the end of chapter 10, which I believe is like part 4 or 5 at this moment. I think it's part 5, actually. So, very happy with that. The rendering is still happening, but it has moved in the light up of the DaVinci Resolve. It, when it renders, it turns green slowly and it goes like a loading bar across like the application icon, so I'm happy with that. So yay, let's hope this video renders, and I hope you're all doing well. Let me go ahead and pull up my list of Patreon and Ko-fi supporters so that I can thank y'all, so I don't have to spend so much time worrying about my 9 to 5 job and being able to do this stuff on the side without having to go like, I should be doing something that would be more productive or get me actual money, because I do struggle and pretty much live paycheck to paycheck. So thank you very much to my Patreon and Ko-fi supporters: Kaleidoscope Chick, Sweet Tea Cakes, Axel1154, Cassie G, Jadas DS, Axel Alcaraz, Semi-Random Sevens, and Micah. And I do have $1 quick sketches available for purchase on my Ko-fi. And if you buy any commissions or anything, get anything off of my Ko-fi shop that supports me, I will add your name to the list of names that I read at the end of these videos. So if you want those or any of that, feel free to check that out. I also have a form in the descriptions of all of my YouTube videos now, or at least in all the ones uploading after, like, I think September or August, where you can submit other stories and stuff that you want me to read. If you have a fan fiction you want me to read, I will happily read it. Fill out the form, tell me what name you want to go by, give me a link to the fan fiction or whatever. I will read it. So yeah, fill that out. Let me know what other things you want me to read. Are you excited? I absolutely love this book. I hope more people will also read it. I will be reading Sonic the Comic later, and some of the English translation of Sonic the Manga from the 90s that I think is made by Koro Coco or Coco. I don't quite remember the name of it. But thank you all so much for being here. Remember to stay safe, stay healthy, eat food. I really hope this thing renders. I'm so excited for it to render. I have been writing short stories and publishing them digitally online under a series of Cute Fluffy Gay Shit. I write cute fluffy gay short stories. A lot of the characters are things like a kelpie, a witch, a werewolf, which I am putting into a animated project collab that I'm working on with other artists. He will be featured as a background character in the scene I'm animating for a reanimation project, which probably won't be out for a few years. But yeah, if you guys want to support me by checking out my books, please feel free. You can get them at any ebook retailer: Amazon, Smashwords, Barnes and Nobles, Hoopla, I believe is one. And I believe a lot of my books are set up where I think you can get them for free for most libraries. I just don't know if library ebook systems are carrying them or not. I have no way of checking. I don't even think my ebook library has things there, so I'll have to go and see. But you can get it from pretty much any ebook retailer. I have to figure out how to get them on Google Books, Google Play Books. I have to do that myself. That's on my to-do list. You can also get my artwork on products via my Redbubble. I don't make a lot from it, but it is something. If you want to like buy some of my artwork on a sticker or something, I would check out there. I am considering, depending on the feedback, getting some stickers made of some of my other designs and maybe selling them through my Ko-fi and figuring out how to like do the shipping and stuff. So yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated. I drink water out of a Peeps cup. So yeah, bye-bye. Hello, internet, and welcome to the Story Nook. It is 12 in the morning on Thursday morning before I have to leave and go to a relative's wedding. But aside from that, I woke up at 12. Well, I woke up at 11 to my husband coming to bed, and I was just like, I'm so thirsty. And it took until 12 sounds like for me to get up. And then I'm spotting, so I'm gonna be uncomfortable no matter what. And I can't sleep, and I don't have anything set to go up this Friday. So we're gonna read Sonic the comic. We're gonna read the Fleetway Sonic comics. As I know, I began reading these years ago, but it has been so long since I've read them. And I've noticed, like, I've seen a lot of people, though, like, do, like, live readings of the Archie Sonic comic books. And I get it. Archie was one of the longest running Sonic comics. And I think it's still technically the longest one. But, hey, I want to read the British version. And I also want to read the other ones. Last time I read the French version of Sonic, at least the first issue that was fan translated, so we're gonna move forward with reading the first issue of Sonic the comic. So we have Sharper Than a Cyber Razor Cut. It's Sonic the Hedgehog #1 every fortnight. So it came out May 29th, 1993. In Europe, they put the day before the month and then the year. The UK's official Sega comic. It costs 95 pence, and I apologize to all of you in the UK. I don't know what pence translates to in American currency. Yeah. But what it translates to in like today's money, which conversion rate was probably different back then, but it transfers to $1.28. How awesome would that be? Because when I started buying the single issues of the comics, they were like $4 each. They were pricey. And we have first mega issue starring the world's most famous blue hedgehog and the Sega superstars. Shinobi, action with the Master Ninja. Golden Axe, which was a very fun game I played all the time on the Sega Genesis. I loved going and like being able to get the dragon to ride. Might and Magic in a Savage World, and more. All new, all action stories inside with a Sega Mega CD and lots more. Plus the Mega News, reviews, and tips zones. So, while this is Sonic the Comic, officially published by Sega, we also have other things to pertain with the Sega license. There's tip zones and such and reviews. And the artwork for this, I do like it. It is reminiscent of like the Sonic style that I know that was very common on a lot of the box art over here in the States for Sonic. And with this line here, it also reminds me of some of like the 90s Sonic cartoons. Also, this came out, I'm born in May. However, this is a year before I am born. I'm a 94 child. So this is fun, and I look forward to eventually seeing if there's an issue that they have dated coming out on my birthday. I also like that they dated the date it came out as. Like, that's not something I see on the American comic books, is like the date of its release on the cover to know like when it came out. So I do like that. So we're gonna zoom into this. This is Control Zone. I like our little robot guy. Your online guide to the sensational world of Sega and Sonic the Comic, hosted by Megadroid. I believe that's this guy. Welcome screen. Hey Sonic Boomers. Years before the Sonic Boom game came out. I think that's hilarious. Welcome to the first ever issue of Sonic the Comic, Britain's brand new Sega-powered comic. Stay cool, things are about to get seriously intense. Prepare to experience the hottest comic on the video game scene. Every fortnight, your favorite Sega video game characters will come to life in all new comic strip adventures. It all starts here with Shinobi, the Legend of Golden Axe, and of course our megastar, the world-famous Sonic the Hedgehog. What do you mean, who? And Fortnite, I believe, is every other week, I believe. That's what Fortnite means. We don't use Fortnite here a lot in our everyday lexicon here in America, but I believe Fortnite is every other week. Let me check. Fortnite definition. Yeah, period of 2 weeks, so bi-weekly. Fortnite just sounds cooler than bi-weekly. Like, I'm hi. But it's fun. Like, Fortnite just sounds cooler, but I also know, like, there's a game called Fortnite. So if you go around saying it releases every fortnight, people might get confused with the games. I've met a lot of people who just, they can't, their reading comprehension is bad, and I'm like, I need you to actually read. That's not all. There are features, combos, and fabulous free gifts, like the brilliant set of stickers attached to this issue's front cover. Where are you going to stick yours? Then there's me, Megadroid. I'm your host for this and every issue of Sonic the Comic. I'll be taking you to whole new levels of video game excitement. We're talking big time here, boomers. Oh yeah, this is the Control Zone, your launching pad to the Sega Superstars. Scope it out every 2 weeks for the hottest information, charts, and Sega news. And so here they say every 2 weeks, so that confirms that this means Fortnite. So even if, like, I didn't have access to a dictionary or the internet to look up the word Fortnite, you continue reading and sometimes you'll get the information you were looking for previously. Fun little reading skills of using what's around to get meanings of words you don't always know. It's a very nice skill, and I hope that even with my ramblings, it helps y'all read and comprehend more, because even I struggle with some reading comprehension, and I've been reading for years. And I want to hear from you. Communicate with me on what you think about Sonic the Comic, Sonic himself, or anything Sega. I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship. Megadroid. And it says, calling all hotshots in our next section. High scores, power players, arcade aces, Sonic the Comic wants to hear from you. STC will soon be featuring a regular high scores section in which you can show off how good a hotshot you are. Not only that, but stand by the Mega Challenge. How well do you think you can do at a designated game against the clock? We'll find out. Street Fighter 2 on the Mega Drive. Will this be a Mega Challenge game? And here we've got editor Richard Borton, design Claire Gilmore, and publisher Chris Power. And it says published every other Saturday by Fleetway Editions, Ltd. I can't really read that. Egmont House? That looks like an E. 25 out of 31. Okay, so that's an address. That's their telephone number. Do not call that. That place probably does not have that same number. I do not know if Fleetway Editions or Fleetway Comics is still up and running in the UK. But you'll often hear Sonic the Comic be referred to as Fleetway Sonic as well. And so enjoy that. So this is like their address, covers printed by this company, orientation, blah, 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 and copyrights and phone numbers for other places. How to use this comic. Instructions for activating Sonic the Comic. I love how they're just like, here's how you use it. And I love like this layout of just how everything is. We have like these little symbols over here that I'm going to get to in a minute. Your favorite Sega superstars as you've never seen them before. In eye-sizzling comic strip form, go beyond the game into all new levels of action and excitement. Join Sonic the Hedgehog in a full-length, complete story in every issue. Marvel at the continuing exploits of Shinobi, Golden Axe, and Wonder Boy in the weeks ahead. And after that, well, that would be telling. 2. Run the zones. Sonic the Comic brings you the fastest news, reviews, and tips service available. We're out every 2 weeks. Enter the news zone, the review zone, and even the mysterious Q zone to become the best informed Sega player around. 3. Give up data. Or data. You can say it either way. Get into the Sonic the Comic in a big way. We desperately want your input. Send in your high scores, letters, and drawings. Take part in the Mega Challenge. Enter the Great Combos. And win Mega Prizes. I don't know what Great Combos is at this moment. I wonder if Combos is like a abbreviated form of competitions. Scoop out the mighty data strip inside the back cover. Fill it in neatly. I love how like they put dashes to like emphasize, hey, neatly. And have your say in the future of Britain's first Sega-powered comic. Because like you did have to like handwrite everything, so being able to write legibly was very important. I know one of my relatives, he was in the Navy and they had them write everything in uppercase letters. The Sega charts. Top 10 chart action for all Sega systems. Check out your favorite games of every issue. So this is up, down, non-mover, new entry, and re-entry. Mega Drive. PGA Tour Golf. Road Rash 2. Echo the Dolphin. Streets of Rage 2. It went down, I guess, in popularity or something. Tiny Toons Buster's Treasure. I did have a Tiny Toon game. Oh, Mega Drive is the Genesis, so I had this game. I also had Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Lemmings, Megalomania, World of Illusion, and European Club Soccer. So on my Mega Drive or Sega Genesis, however you want to say it, I did have the Tiny Toons game. I had Streets of Rage 2, and I had Sonic 2. I had these 3 right here that are 4 through 6, which I find hilarious. And my I also remember we had a Barbie game on the Mega Drive, or was the Barbie game on the Nintendo? I know I had Aladdin on the Genesis. We had Aladdin and Lion King on the Genesis. Master System. Mickey Mouse 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Lemmings, Tasmania, Wimbledon's Tennis, Darius 2, California Games, G-Lock, Double Dragon, the Ninja, and then Game Gear. I think Game Gear was like the handheld Sonic game. Like, not Sonic game, but Sega system. Yeah, so Game Gear was a handheld one. And then the Master System. Yeah, so the one I had, looking at the pictures, I had Mega Drive. Game Gear, I don't think any of us had, but we start with Sonic 2, Lemmings, Streets of Rage, Tasmania, Super Kickoff, Super Off-Road, Batman Returns. Oh, they had a Batman game? That's awesome. Prince of Persia, Donald Ducks, and Axe Battler. So Sonic 2 was actually the first Sonic game I had. So nice to know it came out before I was born. Very interesting. But yeah, what was your first Sonic game? I'm curious for everyone here what their first Sonic game is. So here we go. We have our first page of Sonic the Comic. I love this kind of like shape they have behind Sonic's name with the red and yellow outline, which was very common for Sonic, I feel like, in certain European versions of the logo. I don't know about Japanese because I haven't explored that much of that side of the early Sonic franchise. Enter Sonic, the planet Mobius, Green Hill Zone. We got a loop-de-loop here, some mountains. We got Sonic running. I love how, like, he looks like so fat and pudgy. Look at how fat and pudgy he looks. I'm clipping that. Excuse me while I just... not good enough. He just looks so fat and adorable, and I love it. I'm saving that. And he comes through, and we have swing. Free, thanks, Sonic, little chicken. But I love how, like, as he's going through and we have these action lines to show that he hit this. And even, like, the Motobug looks shocked as it's coming apart. But, like, we have him running, and then we have this shape that shows he was in ball form. Oh, we have this right here. I didn't realize. Script. Alan McKenzie. Art. Anthony Williams. And our lettering is by Tom Frame. Your last name is Frame, sir. You were born to work in the arts. And I appreciate you. Thank you for being our letterer. Because something like, if you are in the computer age, you're used to the lettering all being done by a computer, so like typing and everything. Back in the day, the lettering was hand done. I don't know when most places switched to digital lettering, but these letters right here and all this written, that is, somebody inked all of that by hand. So everyone praise Tom for his legible handwriting, the fact that it's nice, clear, easy to read. Thank you, Tom. Elsewhere, a sinister figure watches. We had Buzz Bomber and Sonic on this TV. How expiring! That hard-boiled blue Blair has escaped my badniks again! I love this already. Have I told y'all that I love puns? I'm not sure how often I've told you I love puns, but I love puns. I adore them. But I, Dr. Robotnik, genius extraordinary, have a plan to fix that meddling hedgehog for good. Not to mention, conquer the world. He looks so evil and menacing, but like cartoonish here, and I adore it. Also, they went with the Japanese Eggman Robotnik design compared to like what we have in North America, which I don't know if I noticed during my first read of this back in. I feel like I read Sonic the comic. I was homeless and reading it online like I am now through fan websites. So it would have been middle school when I would have began reading and trying to read every issue and remember which issue I was on. So that's fun. Because like we would go to the library where, not the library, but like the bookstore. So like Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that, because like they had like a cafe section. And I would read books there, or I would be online on the laptop. I remember a lot of the times like my mom